A few years ago, I met Marcy, a woman whose smile lit up the room, and whose laugh came out in little snorts that made everything feel a bit lighter. She had a daughter from a previous relationship, Tessa. When I first met Tessa, she was 17, awkward, funny, always buried in a book, or sneaking the last slice of pizza when she thought no one was looking. Marcy and I hit it off quickly, and after about a year, we moved in together. To my surprise, Tessa warmed up to me pretty fast. One day, out of nowhere, she called me Pops, and I nearly cried into my morning coffee. I never planned to be her dad. I just wanted to be there for her. Over time, Tessa shared everything with me. Her school dramas, her fears about college, and her dream of opening a bakery that sold exclusively mini cakes she called cup offies. Don't ask why the name stuck. She became my daughter in every way except blood. Her biological father, Keith, had been absent for years. The classic story of a guy who showed up with a guitar and dreams but left with a DUI and a mysterious allergy to child support. Fast forward 4 years. Tessa was graduating college. I was so proud I felt like I could burst. By then, Marcy and I were engaged, and as a combined graduation and early wedding gift, I did something huge. I bought Tessa a small starter home in a charming neighborhood. Yes, I put in her name. Yes, I know how that sounds now. When I handed her the keys, she cried. She told me she'd never forget what I did and called me her real dad. Marcy was glowing. It felt like I had finally built the family I always dreamed of. Then Keith reappeared like a raccoon at a barbecue, messy, unwanted, and carrying nothing but apologies and excuses. A flannel shirt tied around his waist, spouting nonsense about wanting to reconnect. I wasn't thrilled, but maybe people change, right? Maybe growing up, stop knocking over trash cans. Spoiler, he didn't. At first, it was just lunch with Tessa. Then she started inviting him over to the house. Then he was living there, not renting, not paying a dime, just squatting like a sentimental barnacle. I brought it up gently with Marcy. She got defensive. It's her dad. She missed him. Let her have this, she said. I asked, but why does he have to live there? She's 22, not 12. He's 48, not 18. The man eats cereal straight from the box and thinks Bitcoin is a video game. Marcy laughed. I didn't. And then everything crashed. One night, I stopped by the house unannounced to drop off a vintage cake stand. You remember, for Tessa's cup offies. Keith opened the door shirtless, holding a half-eaten chicken leg, and said, "Yo!" Then I heard Tessa's voice from inside. "Pops, can you not just text next time?" It hit me like a sock full of nickels. Not dad, not thank you, not even hi. I went home, still stunned, and told Marcy what happened. She sighed and said, I knew this would upset you, but you have to understand he's trying, and she wants a relationship with him. Maybe it's time you step back a bit. Step back? After everything. After I helped raise her, after I gave her a damn house? That was the moment I realized they didn't see me as family anymore. I was just a bank with legs and decent lasagna. So I did what any heartbroken, blindsided, tech-savvy man would do. I checked the deed. It turned out that although I had put the house in Tessa's name, I still held a silent second mortgage, and the utilities were under my name. I started cutting things off, first the power, then the Wi-Fi. Then, with some creative help from my lawyer, Rick, I filed a lien claiming the house was gifted under undue emotional manipulation. Eventually, I reclaimed the property on a technicality. Unpaid property taxes that they never switched out of my name because Keith thought you could just Venmo the government. I sold the house and bought a boat, which I named Boundaries. As for Marcy and Tessa, I sent a letter. No yelling, no cursing. Just, you made your choice. I made mine. Enjoy Keith cereal. They haven't reached out since. Last I checked, Keith was on Facebook Live arguing with a local Starbucks over the price of almond milk. Me? I'm doing just fine, living on boundaries and sailing toward peace. Living on a boat wasn't a dream at first. I'm no Hemingway. Don't smoke cigars. Get seasick if I sneeze too hard, and once called the Coast Guard because I couldn't figure out how to anchor properly. But boundaries became my therapy on the water. There's something cleansing about being unreachable. No buzzes, no passive-aggressive texts, no can we talk. Messages followed by silence, which is emotional terrorism in my book. I took a few months off work. I freelance in IT, so thankfully I could earn from anywhere, and just floated. I read old books, learned to cook without a microwave, even tried yoga, though I pulled a muscle that made me walk like a marionette for a week. Then came an email with the subject line, "Just talk." It was Tessa. "I know you're mad. I know we hurt you. I didn't realize how much until it was too late. Can we talk?" I didn't respond for 2 weeks. Not to be cruel, I just didn't trust myself not to say something sharp. Eventually, curiosity broke the silence. We met at a coffee shop. She looked different, older somehow, less sparkle, more shadows under her eyes. And for the first time in forever, she wasn't smiling like she had a secret. "I was stupid," she said before I even took a sip of coffee. "No arguments here." I replied, "Forgiveness is holy, but I'm still me." She sighed. "He let me down again." Left without saying anything. Took some of my stuff, even my stand mixer. Oof, not the stand mixer. That man truly was irredeemable. "And Mom?" I asked. She looked down. She went with him. Said she owed him another shot. "I think she was embarrassed and mad that you took the house." "I didn't take it," I said. "I just stopped letting people treat it like a free Airbnb with 0-star reviews." She laughed. The old Tessa laugh. That half snort. And for a moment, I almost forgot everything. Then she said, "I didn't come to ask for anything. I just wanted you to know I see it now, what you were trying to do, who you were to me." I stared at her. I want to be angry, to say too little, too late. But truthfully, I was just tired. Tired of carrying resentment like a gym bag I never signed up for. "Thank you," I said. We talked for an hour about life, about Keith, who apparently is now off the grid in Idaho after a bad crypto investment, about a guy named Smiley, and about how hard it is to forgive people who don't apologize. Then she handed me a keychain, shaped like a tiny boat. On the back, it read, "For the man who taught me what a real dad looks like, even if I didn't see it until he was already gone." Reader, I almost choked on my almond milk latte. We're not where we were. Maybe we never will be. But now she calls sometimes, sends photos of her dog, asks how the boat life is going, and even came to visit Boundaries once. Though she got chased by a seagull, we don't talk about that day. As for Marcy, last I heard she and Keith tried to start a food truck business called So Chow. It folded in 2 weeks. Something about unrefrigerated shrimp and a Yelp war. Do I miss her sometimes? Sure. But I've learned that loving people doesn't mean you have to let them stay. You can wish someone well and still lock the door behind them. Now, if you ever meet someone who calls themselves a visionary entrepreneur but sleeps on an air mattress and eats cheese straight from the bag, just do yourself a favor. Check the property deed twice.